let's move on now to the final email of the day. And the final email today comes to us from Just the Facts. And Just the Facts writes, Shazam is going to release on the 5th of April 2019, 22 days before Avengers. And it still does not have a second trailer. Oh gosh, now we're complaining about how long it is till we get a second trailer. Anyway, it still doesn't have a second trailer. Variety's poll shows that only 29% of DC fans say Shazam is their most anticipated comic book film, despite it being the only 2019 DCEU movie. That's true. It is the only 2019 DCEU movie. The Captain Marvel trailers have had at least got more views and likes than the Shazam trailer. Will Shazam suffer due to the trailer for Avengers? All right, thanks a lot for that question. But Robert, let me phrase it to you this way. With all of the hoopla right now about Aquaman now releasing, about the Captain Marvel, we just got our second trailer for that, about Avengers coming out, and Avengers opening up, like you said, just 3 weeks after Shazam. Do you feel like right now, do you have a sense that right now that Shazam, which is, again, as Just the Facts pointed out, the only DCU movie we're getting in 2019, do you feel right now that Shazam is now getting forgotten and overlooked a little bit? Or do you think, no, that's much ado about nothing? How are you feeling about that right now?
I really do feel it's sort of much ado about nothing because, as you pointed out, we have this murderer's row of movies that are filling up the end of the year. We know Shazam's coming. They gave the audience, the built-in audience, a taste of the movie. Big meets superheroes. I'm in. I think that's great. But to try and promote Shazam now, this month, it's probably a good bet that they shouldn't. I mean, it's not just the Avengers trailer. It's Captain Marvel. It's Mary Poppins. It's you've got Aquaman. They wanted to clear the decks for Aquaman. They don't want people going, well, I'm really excited for Shazam, and remind people. I'm sure beginning in January, we'll see all kinds of marketing for Shazam because right now there's a logjam of great fantasy cinema coming our way.
Yes.
And you don't want things to get lost in the shuffle. Infinity War would rise, or pardon me, Endgame would rise above anything that would cut through no matter what cacophony of noise is coming down on our heads. But Shazam, Shazam needs time. They need time, and it needs a moment where it can be unto itself. And I think it's Captain Marvel. You're going to have Captain Marvel, and the lead up to that, you'll see Shazam stuff, and then right after, Shazam follows on the heels of Captain Marvel. So I think after the first year, we're going to get a new trailer.
There are two things to look at and to point out here. The first thing is this. Is Captain Marvel right now, is Shazam, I should say, is Shazam getting lost a little bit in the shuffle right now? Yeah. I would say it is. But I don't think that's unexpected, nor do I think is that surprising or catching anybody at DC and in the offices at Warner Brothers by surprise. Like you pointed out so accurately, we just had this big trailer for Avengers, Captain Marvel. But forget the trailers. We have Aquaman coming out in theaters. We have Bumblebee coming out in theaters. We have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. All films that kind of fall into this same demographic that Shazam's going after, right? Then, of course, on top of it, you got Mary Poppins, the Oscar films, all that kind of stuff, right? So is it getting a little bit lost in the shuffle right now? Yes. But that's okay.
Right.
The second part of the question that I find was kind of implied in the email, and we get a lot of, is, why on earth are you releasing Shazam in the same month as Avengers Endgame? And the answer to that is really simple. It's 3 weeks separated.
Right.
Do not underestimate this. 3 weeks separated in theatrical release windows is an eternity. Because I'm going to tell you what, Avengers or not, by the time Captain Marvel is going to be still sitting in its third weekend of release without Avengers, right? It's going to be sitting in its third weekend of release without Avengers. By the time Avengers comes out, Captain Marvel, regardless of Avengers, will have already made probably 90% of the money it was going to make at the box office anyway.
Right.
So is Shazam getting a little bit lost in the shuffle right now? Yeah, that's fair to say, but it's not unexpected. Is it a problem, or does it pose a problem that it's opening in the same month as Endgame? No, because it's still separated by so many weeks, and it's going to make most of its money already anyway. I'm not sitting here telling you Shazam's going to be $1 billion film.
Right.
Like by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. But it's going to be okay, and it's going to be fine. And again, Robert, you were 100% correct. Wait till we get into late January.
Yeah.
Once we get into late January, then you're going to start to see DC go, okay, Bumblebee's gone, Aquaman's gone. All right. Roll out the next phase of the marketing.
I also think that it was really shrewd. Aquaman, the fantasy context and the imagination on display in Aquaman, and there's a lot of it. The tone of that movie is sort of moving us away from this darkness that has sort of permeated. I mean, even Wonder Woman, there's trench warfare in World War I.
Yeah.
You know, Aquaman really tees up Shazam to have a fun time at the
Yes, it
movies.
does. Yeah.
And I think it was a really smart move. I mean, once we marinate on the fact that Aquaman is the kind of movie it is, I think that we are going to be ready for Shazam.
It is. Aquaman will, to a degree, condition the audiences a little bit
Absolutely.
to prepare for Shazam, and maybe a tonal difference in Wonder Woman 1984 as well compared to the first one. All right, guys, that will do it.